lovers and friends, a warm welcome to Financial Freedom with Honeybee. My name is Malonda Hanawe, and on today's episode we're going to look at the final episode of what financial advice would you give your younger self, right? So this one is for me. I have looked at or asked a lot of people what financial advice that they would give their younger self, and I kept on getting the same or similar responses to the ones that I've already recorded in my previous videos, right? So I thought, let me do one on myself. What financial advice would I give my younger self? Please note that anything that I say in my channel doesn't constitute financial advice. If you are looking for the services of a financial advisor, please be in contact with a registered qualified financial advisor. So yeah, let's get into today's episode, right? So the first one for me is, before building wealth or before building any net for yourself which will help you reach financial freedom, there's one thing that you need, or two things that I think are very important, right? So the first one is understand the tax implication of each and every vehicle that you are trying to use to get to that financial freedom, right? So what do I mean by understand the tax vehicle? So if, for instance, you want to build your wealth via property, and maybe you want to build or you want to buy properties under your name or under your business, understand the tax implication of income tax of a personal income tax or a business income tax, right? So understand which are you going to use. Are you going to buy properties under your name, or are you going to buy properties under a business? Which, for me, if you want to be in a property business, I think it's better to build or to buy properties under a business, because the tax of a business is much cheaper compared to the tax of personal income tax, right? So you have to understand the vehicle that you're going to use and the tax implication it carries, right? Because you do not want to build wealth to pay many or much tax, right? Because it's very important to pay tax, but it's also very important to minimize your tax obligation, right? So that's number one for me. The business you're going to use, or the vehicle you're going to use, what is the tax implication, right? So for instance, if you buy shares in personal capacity, the same thing applies. What is the tax implications of the vehicles that you want to use? That's number one. Number two is, when you die, how are you going to get rid of that wealth? Which this goes back to the tax implication, because when you get rid of the wealth, you have to be mindful of the tax that it will attract, right? So it's very important that when you're building your wealth, you are building that wealth in a tax-saving manner, right? So that's the next one. So how are you going to dispose of this wealth, right? I know taxes is one of those things that some people are really not interested in understanding taxes, which is okay, but it's very important to have people who will help you to see, like these financial advisors in many institutions. So go and talk to those financial advisors. Obviously they do cost money, but it's cheaper to pay for a financial advisor than to pay tax in the long run. So it's cheaper to pay for a financial advisor than a tax man or SARS, right? So that's number two. So for me, before you start building wealth, know how are you going to make it, what are the ways that you're going to make your wealth, and what are the tax implications that's associated with that, and also know how are you going to get rid of that wealth when you die, so that it can be tax savvy, because you can build wealth and then you lose maybe 40% of it into tax, or you lose 30% of it into tax, right? So you don't want to lose anything that you've built so hard or you've worked hard for, right? So that's my take on this. The financial advice I would give my younger self is, anything that you get yourself into, ensure that at least you understand the minimum or the basics. Understand the basics so that you can make good choices, and it can save you a lot of money in the long run. You don't want to do things and then later realize that you've made a fuck up, especially with SARS. SARS is one of those people that you do not mess up with SARS, right? So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys on this video. Love you lots. I will see you guys on the next video.